Mark Levin here. The post-election economy could be a minefield of inflation, massive debt, and currency instability. That's why I count on gold for my financial protection. When it comes to gold, I only trust Advantage Gold. They're one of the top gold companies in America, and that's who I turn to for my own investments. Call them now, 800-900-8000, for a free gold investment kit and see if you qualify for $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Don't wait and see if post-election chaos destroys your savings. Act preemptively. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Here, our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811, 6:07 p.m. Eastern Time. We're in the final moments of voting all around the country. In some parts of the country, you have less than an hour to vote. In other parts of the country, you have several hours. And so if you are in line, do not move under any circumstances. Stay in line so your vote counts. By all accounts, this is going to be a razor-thin election. I wish it weren't. Maybe it won't be. But by all accounts, by what I'm seeing, that's exactly what we're talking about. Razor-thin election. Now, in Georgia, one of the battleground states, their polls close in less than an hour, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be keeping an eye on Georgia. Their vote should come in fairly quickly. And in Virginia, their polls close at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Not that I have high expectations, given that it's become a blue state, but we'll want to see just how blue it is in this current election. At 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, North Carolina, their polls close. If you're in line, stay in line. I don't care if it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. Stay in line. Stay in line. At 7:30, most of New Hampshire will be in. The municipalities, a lot of them decide what time their polls close, but that'll be worth at least looking at. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania closes, I believe, at 8 p.m. Isn't that correct, Mr. Producer? Yes. It's cut off at the top of my, and so does New Hampshire, actually, 8 p.m. But Pennsylvania, you must stay in line. There's some glitches here and there. You must stay in line. We won't know the final vote for a while, but you must stay in line. My understanding is it is really, really, really tight in Pennsylvania. And let's see here. Just bear with me. What people see is that Trump is probably doing better with blacks in Pennsylvania, but not as good with Latinos as was hoped. It's a very, very, very close race in Pennsylvania and all over the country. And so it's very important that those of you who are voting Trump, Vance, voting for the Senate and the House and the undercard, that you stay in line. It's very, very, very important. Then we have polls closing at 8:30 p.m. in Arizona, Eastern Time. Michigan, polling locations close at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and all except for 4 counties. Stay in line. Texas, polls close at 8 p.m. Eastern time for most of the state except for 3 counties in the west. Stay in line. Wisconsin, same thing. Montana, polling closes at 10 p.m. We need that Senate seat. Nevada closes at 10 p.m. These are all Eastern time. We need those electoral college votes. We need that Senate race. And beyond that, you can check yourself. So this is very, very important. And so my message here, that's why this program is so important. I'm the cleanup hitter. This program has been so important for over 20 years when it comes to these matters and others. Stay in line. Now, if you're in your car or in your truck and you're still thinking about voting and you're a Trump supporter or you're not for Harris and you're going to vote for Trump reluctantly, then get to the polls. Georgia, you have till 7 p.m. Eastern time. In other words, you have 50 minutes. That's it. Same with Virginia, Vermont, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Indiana. Some of your polls have already closed. But Virginia, too. 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be taking a look at that. But Georgia, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you haven't voted yet and you're for Trump, then get in line. Get in line under every and any circumstance. If you're listening to me in your vehicles, get to your precinct. 7:30 p.m. North Carolina closes. If you can hear me, and you can, in North Carolina, if you're in line, stay in line. If you haven't gotten in line yet, and you're driving home or driving somewhere else, turn around, get to your precinct, and get in line. Same with Ohio, by the way. We need that Senate race. Same with Ohio. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. You're in Ohio? Let's get it done. Now, there are other states, too. I just can't go through all 50 all the time. It's just not possible. In Florida, much of your state shuts down at 8 p.m. Some of your state closed at 7 p.m. You got an important Senate race there with Rick Scott. Again, New Hampshire, 8 p.m. Pennsylvania, 8 p.m. Arizona, 9 p.m. All Eastern time. Michigan, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Texas, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Wisconsin, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Get in line. Get to your precinct. Stay there. It's that close. It's that close. We must outvote them. We must do our jobs for the future of the country, because that's what's at stake. I heard one commentator say, or maybe more than one, our democracy will survive. It always survives. No, democracies don't always survive. There's no guarantee they'll survive in perpetuity. Our founders knew that. The framers of the Constitution knew that. They warned us about it. Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson. We had Ronald Reagan warn us about how you could lose our country in one generation because freedom is not in the bloodstream. It has to be fought for. It has to be preserved. Will there be in America? Yes. But that doesn't mean there'll be a constitutional republic. And I'm sick of this word democracy. We're not a democracy. A constitutional republic. If the Constitution is gutted, which is their plan, then we're not a constitutional republic. We're still America. But I'm tired of people telling us, oh, it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, freedom, your way of life, your children and your grandchildren. We have been warned over and over again. Don't acquiesce to this. Don't listen to people who tell you, oh, well, it'll be okay tomorrow. There'll be democracy tomorrow. There will not be the kind of democracy, or better put, republicanism, that you're used to. That's for sure. That's for certain. Because these people are targeting it. They're targeting it. Here we have Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC yesterday. Listen to this. This is important. Cut 2, go.
And what must always be remembered is the vote is suppressed in about at least more than 40 states. There's a massive voter suppression operation created by the founding fathers who got
the Electoral College.
Correct. Who got many things grotesquely wrong, from slavery to the Electoral College. Think about how many more Californians would vote if they thought their vote.
You understand,
mattered.
ladies and gentlemen? This is what I mean. Trashing the founders, trashing the Constitution. trying to unravel it. The Electoral College was not founded to suppress the vote. The Electoral College was founded to expand representative government, participatory government, to areas of the country that were not heavily populated, not to the exclusion of parts of the country that are heavily populated, but to ensure that everybody in the United States, no matter where you live, no matter what your work is, no matter what you do, is represented in that executive branch when you're voting for a president or vice president. Lawrence O'Donnell, the Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, New York, the triangle of the left, they don't want you to participate. They call this suppression. So they want to eliminate the Electoral College, and by God, they will. So much talk about, oh, democracy, it will survive. The independence of the Supreme Court, it will not survive. They made it abundantly clear they're going to add seats to the court and fill it with ideologues. That's called a Politburo. Separation of powers will be destroyed. So it won't survive. An open border with illegal aliens coming in and then chain migration after they get amnesty. No, it won't survive. Packing the Senate, as well as the Supreme Court, but packing the Senate with 2 senators from D.C. and Puerto Rico, where the Republicans can never again win a majority. No, it won't survive. I'm tired of these candy asses going on who've been hanging around forever, telling us everything's going to be just fine. You should be very concerned about this election. You just heard it from Lawrence O'Donnell. You just heard it from Jen Psaki. They're longtime Democrat staffers and operatives. This isn't a debate or a dispute over a little policy here and there. It's about our founding document. It's about our system of government. The Constitution is what protects us. So those of you who haven't voted yet, who are still thinking about it, you better get your asses to your precincts, and I'm not kidding. You owe it to the country. You owe it to your family. And those of you who are in line, thank you. Stay in line. Do not leave. You can eat dinner later. Do not let them dispirit you, wear you down. Stay in line and vote. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
History shows that post-election periods can bring economic turmoil. It's about bracing for the economic fallout that could follow. But this time, with our national debt skyrocketing, global tensions rising, and God knows what else, we could be facing unprecedented risks. Economic dislocation, runaway stagflation, even worse. And, of course, undermining the value of the currency. That's the big concern. Your financial security. The answer is diversity. Diversity with what? In my view, gold. Gold has been said to be a reliable wealth shield for thousands of years through some of the worst economic storms. And for my gold investments, I trust Advantage Gold. I recommend them to anyone serious about helping to protect their own wealth. Call them right now. 800-900-8000. Get a free gold investment kit to see how you can get started with gold. You can even qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Call them now. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. Now, trust me, you'll be happy you did. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. This program is heard all over the country. In every election, it's left to us, you in the audience and me, to try and push this victory over the finish line. I'm telling all of our people listening in Georgia, it's tight, you can make a difference. If you're in line, stay in line. If you're in your car or your truck and you're not sure whether to vote or not, you want to go to McDonald's, folks, recalibrate. Recalibrate. You have 37 minutes to get to your precinct and to get in line because, Georgia, you close at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and that's that. And that's that. And I can assure you the other side is doing everything humanly possible to squeeze out every last vote. Now it's our turn. This is what we must do. Same with Virginia. We're heard all over the state of Virginia. Again, I'm just saying this is something worth looking at. Vermont, South Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, some of their polls closed at 6 p.m. Eastern already. 7:30 p.m., North Carolina and Ohio, the two big ones. West Virginia, God bless you. North Carolina and Ohio. We need the senator out of Ohio. We need Bernie Moreno. Bernie Moreno. And in North Carolina, we need those electoral college votes. It's crucial. And so people are going to be looking at Georgia at 7 p.m. They're going to be looking at North Carolina at 7:30 p.m. If you are in line, stay in line. If you're not in line, why not? This is it. This is it. This is for all the marbles. So if you're in your car or your truck or on your motorcycle, go to your precinct immediately, park your vehicle, and get in line. Now, this is it. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm born and bred in Pennsylvania. It's my home state. I love the Keystone State. I adore it. You Pennsylvanians have a tremendous responsibility. Tremendous responsibility. You had a tremendous responsibility in 1776. You had a tremendous responsibility in 1781 at the Constitutional Convention. You have a tremendous responsibility today to carry forward the Declaration, the Constitution. Whether you're union or non-union, blue collar or white collar, whether you're a laborer or small business, whether you're a surgeon or a lawyer or a janitor or a waiter, we need you. We need you now. Whether you're black or white or Hispanic or Asian, we need you now. We need you to get to your precinct and vote. And vote. Don't be dispirited at any time. Don't listen to the news. They don't know what the hell's going on any more than the rest of us do. The bottom line is counting votes, and your vote needs to be cast in order to be counted. This is the most patriotic thing you're going to do. This is it. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Arizona, Michigan. Some polling locations in Michigan are closing at 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. Polling locations close at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at all except 4 counties in Michigan. So Michigan, you have until 8 p.m. too. In most of the counties of Michigan, you have till 8 p.m. as well. So what do? Stop whatever you're doing and get to your precinct. If you're in line, stay in line. Texas, we need your Senate seat. Michigan, we need your Senate seat. Arizona, we need your Senate seat. Texas, polls close at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for most of the state, except for counties in the West. 8 p.m. Eastern Time also in Texas. Our brothers and sisters in Texas, we are heard in every metropolitan area and rural area in the state of Texas. If you're in your car, if you're in your truck, and you haven't voted, get to your polling place right away, please, and stay in line. Don't allow anything to move you. Nothing. Wisconsin, you're crucial. You have an important Senate race. Texas, you got Ted Cruz. Wisconsin, you have a great Senate candidate. And the presidency. Please, if you're in line, stay in line. If you're not in line, why not? If you're in your car, if you're at home listening to me, if you're in your truck, get up, get in your vehicle, get to your precinct, stay in line. Am I a broken record? You damn well bet I am. People aren't tuning in necessarily straight through. Georgia, you're up in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Virginia, you're up in 30 minutes. North Carolina, you're up in 60 minutes. That's it. 60 minutes. Ohio, 60 minutes. That's it. That's it. Pennsylvania, 8 p.m. That's it. Folks, any election can send shockwaves through our financial system, but these post-election stakes could be higher than ever. Reckless spending, mounting debt, these radical left policies, they've set the stage for a potential disaster. We could see rapid stagflation, market dislocation, even worse, and that will undermine the value of our currency. That's why I've always relied on gold for protection as part of my diversification. It's been said to be a timeless safeguard against economic chaos, and in these uncertain times, it's more crucial than ever. So when it comes to gold, I trust one company, Advantage Gold. They're one of the top gold companies in America, and they're who I turn to for my own investments. Call them now, 800-900-8000. Get your free gold investment kit to see how gold can help protect you from post-election chaos. And when you do, you might even qualify for $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Don't wait until it's too late. 800-900-8000. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Mark Levin, the thunder on the right. Call him now, 877-381-3811.
Katie Britt is a fantastic senator from the state of Alabama, and she wanted to come on the program and talk to you folks all over the country who are standing in line or maybe are hearing on this program in your car or in your truck. And she wants to give you a message out there, people who haven't voted yet or are going to vote or lean towards Donald Trump. Katie Britt, welcome. What do you want to tell America?
Mark, thank you so much for having me on, and obviously during such a critical moment for our entire nation. What I want your listeners to hear is we need you. If you have not gone to vote, get to the polls. Call your friends, call your family, make sure they have voted. If not, get there as soon as possible. If you are standing in line, keep standing. The wait is worth it. When you think about what is at stake for our children and our children's children, you know, we know the America that we know and love. We know the America that is worth fighting for. We know the America that we want to preserve for the next generation. And we know that electing Donald Trump and electing Republicans up and down the ballot is critically important to achieving that. And so when you look at what's at stake, we know President Trump did it before. He's going to do it again. He will create an environment where we have stable prices, where we have secure borders, where we have safe streets, where we have a strong defense, where we actually achieve peace through strength, where communities and families are cherished, and where we fight for the American dream for our children and our children's children. So, Mark, this is a moment in our nation's history, and your kids are going to ask you, where were you? Your kids are going to ask you, what did you do to save our country, to put it back on track, and let it be that shining beacon of light for the rest of the world to see. So we need you. Like I said, stay in line, go get in line, call your friends, call your family. This is critically important, and it's worth it.
Thank you, Senator. This is it. The polls in Georgia close at 7 p.m. My brothers and sisters in Georgia, you literally have 24 minutes to get to the polls. If you hear me in any of your vehicles, wherever you're going, turn around and get to that precinct and get in line so your vote counts. If you're in line, obviously, as the senator said, stay in line. Every vote is going to matter. If we lose Georgia by 10,000 votes, what that really means is a swing of 5,001 votes means we would have won Georgia. So it's very, very important that folks in Georgia understand, folks in Virginia understand. North Carolina, you close at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. People are going to be looking at these two states. It's very, very important. If you're not in line, please get in line. This is when the rubber hits the road. This is it. This is it. This isn't asking a lot to save your country. Go ahead, Senator.
No, Mark, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, do it. It is worth it, and we need you. And you think about how close this election could be. Every single vote will matter. You look back to 2022 and the Senate race there in Nevada. I mean, it was 7 votes a precinct that made a difference. So every vote matters. I mean, we look at how close some of this could be, and we know what is at stake, and we know that our nation is worth it. It is worth it. So no matter what you have going on, if you have to load the kids up in the car and take them with you, let them be a part of this democratic process and let them know that you are fighting for them. Every vote matters, every single one, and let your voice be heard. I mean, you think about this. There's no doubt that our nation is broken right now, and Kamala broke it, and Donald Trump will fix it. I mean, families are struggling, and you look at the chaos and misery that has been created under this administration. And so, yes, our country is facing serious problems, but there's a clear contrast on the ballot box, and Kamala caused these problems. And if you want it to get better, we know who has the solutions. We've seen Donald Trump do it before. He will do it again. You have a vote, and you have a voice in this process, and your vote matters, and we need you. We need you right now. Like you said, look at this. You've got you've still got time to get to the polls. You've still got time to make it happen. If you're standing in line, I've heard there are long lines in a multitude of places. It is worth it. We need you.
All right. Thank you, Senator. We really appreciate you. You take care.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks
Katie
for all
Britt.
you're doing.
And God bless you, my friend. Now, this is very, very important. It's so important. It's just hard for me to understand how perhaps close this election is. It really is. But you got to act like it is, because I actually think it is very, very close. We have a lot of Senate races, too, that are hanging by. I remember a Senate race was won by 84 votes years and years ago. I remember a Senate race or a House race in New Hampshire was said to have been won by 7 votes. This is one of those elections where your vote actually counts big time. Big time. And you're running out of time, Georgia. It's 6:40 p.m. You have 20 minutes to get in a line and stay in line. And it's crucially important. So anybody who can hear me in Georgia, we need Georgia. Georgia's on my mind. I can tell you that right now. There's other states, too. Don't get me wrong. I said Virginia. But 7:30 p.m., we have North Carolina. And by the way, I'm very familiar with Virginia. I'm here in Loudoun County. My wife's been working at the polls all darn day. Some of you are in line. Loudoun County, Route 7, 267, Dulles Access Road, wherever you are, Fairfax County, and so forth and so on. You can get to the polls now. You've got 20 minutes, 19 minutes. You can put off dinner later. And as Senator Britt said, if you've got kids in the car, bring them with you. If you're at home with kids, put them in the car and go. But you don't have a lot of time to waste. Georgia, you're absolutely crucial to holding the line. If we get reports that Georgia's gone and North Carolina's gone, and this is going to be a big problem. It's going to be a big problem. Doesn't mean it's over, but it's going to be a big problem. Now, Pennsylvania, if you're going to vote in Pennsylvania, you don't have a lot of time. Your polls close at 8 p.m. I used to work the polls there very, very hard outside of Philadelphia, Montgomery County, Cheltenham Township, Elkins Park to be specific. Your polls are wide open until 8 p.m. You have time to get there. I don't care where you're coming from. All over that state, you have time to get to the precincts and vote, and you need to do it. And you need to bring as many people as you can with you, but you got to get in line, and you got to stay in line. We've had some issues in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, in Republican areas, where a judge had to keep it open 2 or 3 more hours because of the screw-ups taking place. Some of these voting machines aren't working properly. Imagine that. But it's very, very important. We cannot allow turnout to be our enemy. At a minimum, we need to leave everything on the field. We need to turn out en masse. Each and every one of you, your votes are going to count. That's how tight this is. If it's going to be up to 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people in 7 states, can you imagine? Despite the fact that tens of millions of people are voting? No, I don't know. This is what people are saying, and this is what's happened the last 2 elections. So there's every reason to believe it's going to happen again. Some of you might be saying there's no way anybody with any brains whatsoever is going to vote for Kamala Harris. Let me tell you a little secret. There's a lot of people with no brains who are voting for Kamala Harris. You've got to cancel their vote. You have an opportunity to do that. Georgia, you're up. You're literally up in 18 minutes. North Carolina, you're up at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You're up. This is it. The rubber hits the road. It's game time. New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Arizona, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Michigan, polling locations are closing there at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, all except for 4 counties. So for most of Michigan, 8 p.m. is your timeline too. Texas, for most of Texas, 8 p.m. is your timeline, except for 3 counties in the West. Then we have Nevada, Montana, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That's not that far away. These are 2 states with small populations. We need to win both Senate seats in Montana and Nevada. We need to win the Nevada Electoral College votes. It's all coming to the fore, ladies and gentlemen. It's all now. Now or never. It's now or never. 15 minutes and counting, Georgia. 15 minutes and counting. Virginia, get to the precincts. Get in line. If you're in line, stay in line. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
History shows that post-election periods can bring economic turmoil. It's about bracing for the economic fallout that could follow. But this time, with our national debt skyrocketing, global tensions rising, and God knows what else, we could be facing unprecedented risks. Economic dislocation, runaway stagflation, even worse, and of course, undermining the value of the currency. That's the big concern, your financial security. The answer is diversity. Diversity with what? In my view, gold. Gold has been said to be a reliable wealth shield for thousands of years through some of the worst economic storms. And for my gold investments, I trust Advantage Gold. I recommend them to anyone serious about helping to protect their own wealth. Call them right now. 800-900-8000. Get a free gold investment kit to see how you can get started with gold. You can even qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Call them now. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. Now, trust me, you'll be happy you did. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. Kamala Harris has been on 7 radio shows today. Did you know that, Mr. Producer? Didn't we get a fiat that said that we can't put presidential and vice presidential candidates on our radio stations? Isn't that what I heard? But Kamala Harris can? This is said and done. We're going to have a little chat with management. That said, Georgia, you've got 10 minutes. Virginia, you have very, very important congressional races, too. Very important congressional races, too, in a Senate race. So you have every reason to vote. But remember, we're fighting over the Senate and the House of Representatives as well. And the Democrats have played very, very dirty. Very, very dirty. Very dirty. We'll see. So Georgia's the first one up. Everything closes in Georgia in 9 minutes. So if you're 5 minutes away from your polling place, well, go get there, park your vehicle, and get in line. And get in line. Same with Virginia. You've got important congressional races. Park your vehicle, vote for President Trump, vote for Hung Chow, and vote for the congressional races. You got to get in a line. In North Carolina, you're coming up. You're up in 38 minutes. 38 minutes. It's a big state. Ohio, you're up at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, too. Crucial state. You've got crucial congressional races, big, and a crucially important Senate race. Very, very, very big Senate race, Bernie Moreno. And so this is all coming together now, as we knew it would. Very, very important. Let's see here for a second. I want you to listen for the next minute or so to his Arizona Democrat voter on CNN today. He's standing in line, and he voted for Trump. Cut 10, go.
You just voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Walk me through why you cast that vote.
Yeah, so just seeing what's been happening in the past 4 years, I voted Democrat the past 4 years, and I'm really disappointed in the administration, how everything has been going. I was in the mortgage industry for quite some time, and that hurt us pretty bad. I lost my job because of it. dealing with the recession and everything. And I know that everyone's saying we're looking for solutions from every party, right? But in actuality, the solutions they came up with were no solutions. It hurt us even more. Now you have to have a son with parents and, daughter. All the families get together to be able to even afford a home or even afford a rent.
So the economy is the number one issue for you?
Absolutely. It impacts every one of us.
Did you vote for Biden in 2020?
I did. I'm sorry. I did. Yeah, I did. I was deceived, but I'm a walking example of how people can change their mind. You just go with the evidence of, what benefits you and your family. So Biden has not been beneficial to my family, at least.
You're a car salesman now.
I'm a car salesman now.
Was that one of the reasons why the economy just is top and center for you?
Yes. Lots of offices shut down. They had to kind of regroup, right, with banks trying to just regroup, and unfortunately they have to let a lot of people go. It's just a matter of profit, right? I mean, profit is not a bad word for anyone. That's democracy. This is, the country we live in.
Very good. So here's a Democrat who's been directly affected by Bidenomics and their policies, just like people have been affected by illegal immigration, just like they've been affected by massive inflation. And for some people, this is okay. But for the rest of us, it's not. It's absolutely not. It's when the 5 minutes left in Georgia. You know what you have to do, Georgia? And you have to do it now. There is no tomorrow. You know what you have to do, Virginia, with your congressional races? And yes, for President Trump, many of you are on the road. Get to your precinct. Get in line. Time is up. It's almost up. That's the way it works. And then at 7:30 p.m., we've got North Carolina and Ohio, among other states, but North Carolina is critical. The Electoral College votes there. Same with Ohio. There's very, very important House races in Ohio. Other states, too. But that Senate race in Ohio is absolutely critical. This is it, folks, where it's liberty versus tyranny. Either there's more of us or there's more of them. And I would say this to Republicans who aren't sure how they want to vote, even to this point, or have turned on their own party and on Donald Trump. Don't hate. You can't hate Donald Trump more than you love your country. Because that's what's at stake here. That's the bottom line here. If you hate Donald Trump more than you love your country, your children and grandchildren are going to pay a price for that. And by the way, so will you. So will you. So there's really no excuses for those of us who love this country not to vote now. This is where we are. We've had tens of millions of patriots who voted early. And now it's time for the rest of Americans who are patriotic and love this country to join the rest of us who voted early. It's now or never. If you vote late, it doesn't count. Thanksgiving's coming up. You're going to be sitting around the table with friend and foe alike. What are you going to say if we lose this election? I didn't vote. I didn't like the way Trump spoke. What are you going to say if we lose this election? You're going to look your children in the eye and your grandchildren in the eye. What are you going to tell them? Well, at least we don't have Donald Trump. We have illegal aliens. We have criminals, Venezuelan gangs. We have fentanyl. We have sex slavery. We have a dollar that's worth crap. What are we going to say this Thanksgiving? I've said all I can say. When we return, it'll be after 7 p.m. The polls in Georgia will have closed. The polls in Virginia will have closed. I hope you're in line. I hope you're there. And I'll be right back. This segment of the podcast is exclusively sponsored by Pure Talk. Pure Talk offers great coverage and can save your family money on your wireless bill every single month. Go to puretalk.com to find the plan that's right for you. Thank you again for listening, and thank you so much for this sponsorship, Pure Talk.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have totals yet, but we are watching. As soon as we have something, I will break it to you immediately. so you'll have the information that we have. So the tallying in Georgia is going on now. It shouldn't take forever. They've really upgraded their voting systems, as every state should, quite frankly. And same with Virginia. We don't know anything about Virginia yet, but at some point we will. Trump is not expected to win Virginia. I'm looking at Virginia to win some of these House seats, and also to see how tight it is, if it is tight, at the presidential level. Now we move on to North Carolina and Ohio. West Virginia, of course, but let's look at North Carolina and Ohio. They're up next. Literally 24 minutes from now, the polls close in North Carolina and Ohio. And so the question is, if people in line in North Carolina and Ohio, you need to stay in line. If you haven't gotten to the line, you need to get to the line, and you need to cast your votes. Look, the truth is, even with all the early voting, 60% of all the voting is happening today. 60% of all the voting is happening today. So that matters big. It matters big. So you need big turnout in North Carolina and Ohio. We have a hugely important Senate race in Ohio, where Bernie Moreno, and a hugely important presidential race. The Ohio electoral votes is North Carolina. And especially after that horrendous hurricane and what that did to so many areas of rural Ohio, it's so important that people turn out and they get to the precincts and they stay in line. You got to stay in line. Now, some of you have people, that is family members or friends, who live in North Carolina and Ohio. You should get on the phone and call them. And you should ask them, have you voted? Are you in line? Is there anything else you can do to help with 20 minutes left? Probably not much, but you can get in line and you can vote. 20 minutes is enough time to get to most neighborhood precincts. Again, I pose this question to some people. Do you hate Donald Trump more than you love this country? Because for some people, this is the problem. For those of you where that's not a problem, where you like Donald Trump and you love the country, there should be no issue. No issue about voting, none. So that's very, very important. North Carolina, you're up next. Ohio, you're up next. Ohio has a lot of important congressional seats, too, as does North Carolina. So this is for everything. This is whether we have the presidency and we keep it out of the hands of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and the Islamists and the Marxists. I can't imagine. Good God. I just can't imagine. Whether they're going to take the House, so if Donald Trump wins the presidency, automatically they'll start trying to impeach him. And then in the Senate, whether we have the Senate to stopgap what the House does and what the president tries to do. It's all on the table. And your Constitution's on the table. Your way of life, your liberty, it's all on the table. People downplay this. They really ought not to. It's a big deal. The election in Georgia is tight, tight, tight. The election in North Carolina is tight, tight, tight. You can make a difference. You can make a difference. You know, I think President Trump lost by like what, Mr. Producer? 12,000 votes or 11,000 votes? That's crazy. That means 5,000 or 6,000 votes had gone the other way. Donald Trump would have won Georgia. The same thing is going on right now. The same thing could go on right now. That is, it could come down to a handful of votes in each county. Yours. A handful of votes. That's very, very important. And so again, we're going to be a broken record for the next hour and 45 minutes as we encourage people from one state to the next. Because remember, people tune in at different times. People tune in at different times. They don't necessarily listen to the whole program. And so we need to speak to them. This program is heard on terrestrial radio, AM and FM. This program is heard on podcasting. This program is heard on streaming services. This program is heard on apps, on iPhones and Androids. This program is heard everywhere and in every way. I have an obligation. I have a duty to use this microphone to advance the mission of liberty and family and country. And that's what I believe we're talking about here. So North Carolina, you're up next. Ohio, you're up next. And you literally have 19 minutes to get to your polls and to get in line and stay in line. Stay in line. Crucially important. If we see Georgia as a win early on, followed by North Carolina, how will you feel? You'll feel great. If you see Georgia as a loss and North Carolina as a loss, you won't feel great. And by the way, I would argue, keep fighting, because we have Senate congressional races and we still have a presidential race, regardless of what people may say or do. But we don't want to start with two problematic issues, Georgia and North Carolina. So North Carolina, we really need you folks very, very desperately, very badly, to do what you can, which is go to the precinct, stay in the line. If you're not there, go there. There's 1,000 reasons why you need to vote. There's 1,000 reasons. And I'm not going to repeat them. Here's Donald Trump last night, Grand Rapids, Michigan, really to all of you. In North Carolina, in Ohio, and elsewhere. Cut 13, Mr. Producer, 13, go.
As we stand on the brink of rescuing our country, I want to take a moment to thank the millions of hardworking men and women who are the heart and soul of this, the greatest movement of all time. Because it's you much more so than me, frankly. You're incredible people. You built this country, and you're going to save this country, but you're incredible people. You're really incredible people. And as I said in the very beginning, this isn't my campaign. This is your campaign. This is a great campaign that's now it's 9 years, and we've been fighting side by side every step of the way. We've been together. That's why it's not even hard. People say to me, like very successful people, how do you stand up and talk in front of these people? And it's sort of easy because they're love. It's love in these rooms. I just left Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, fly up here, and the love was the same. It's such love, and it's not hard to do. It's much harder to do when you have people screaming at you. But there's love in this room. I think there's love in the whole country. I think it's a much bigger movement than we even understand. I think we're going to end up getting numbers that are far greater than we would expect. But you've given your time, your money, and your whole heart for this cause, and your support means more than anything you can even understand. It's amazing. I love you all. You're very special.
Well, there you go. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
The big wireless carriers want to limit you to two choices when it comes to data, unlimited or unlimited. And guess what? Both are stupidly expensive. So folks, stop overpaying for data you're never going to use. That's like paying for a pot of coffee when you only need a cup, or filling your entire truck bed full of gas when you only need a tank. With Pure Talk, my cell phone company, you get to choose how much data you actually want. Listen to this. For just $25 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data, which is more than enough, plus mobile hotspot. Folks, stop overpaying for wireless and get America's best 5G coverage with Pure Talk. Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's puretalk.com/Levin. Switching is easy. There's no contract. There's no activation fees. You can even keep your phone and your number. Again, that's puretalk.com/Levin, Levin, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month when you sign up with Pure Talk. It looks like right now it's really way too early. That about 25%, give or take, of the black male vote is going for Trump, Mr. Producer. Did you see that? But in some of these suburbs that are typically Republican, they're soft. It appears right now. Now, there's not enough vote in. I mean, 3% or 4% of the vote in Georgia, so who the hell knows? But they're looking at the various counties and so forth, and we don't have anything to add to that. But there's definitely a cultural change taking place. That's for sure, in how this is working. So in Georgia right now, 3% in, Trump at 51%, Harris at 48.5%. You know what that means right now? Nothing. We don't know where those votes are coming from or anything of the same. You folks in North Carolina, you're going to be up next. You got 10 minutes. Stay in line if you're in line. If you're close enough to your precinct, get to your precinct. Same with Ohio. You got a crucially important Senate race and House races there. And, of course, we want to win the Electoral College there for Donald Trump, too. Nothing is a shoo-in. You can't treat anything as a shoo-in, period. And you've got down-ballot races. In a number of these states, you have state officers that are up for election and so forth. So it's very, very important. And those of you who live in these so-called battleground states, you have a bigger responsibility than most other people. You have a bigger opportunity and a bigger obligation, which is normally the way it works. And many of us are counting on you. Many of us who've already voted in our states. Today, many of us who haven't voted in our states yet, but we're in line. Many of us who voted early, a long time ago. Those of you who decided to wait for Election Day is here. And in North Carolina, you got 9 damn minutes. And same with Ohio. 9 minutes to make the difference. What kind of society we live in. And we need your help, those of us who love the country. We need your help, those of us who want to secure the border and kick out the Venezuelan gangs. We need your help, those of us who want to bring down grocery prices and energy prices. We need your help, those of us who believe in a strong military and support the cops. We need your help, and we need your help now. You literally have 9 minutes. Stay in line. Get to your precinct. If you're in your car, you're in your truck, and you're in North Carolina or Ohio, make a beeline to your precinct. And this is a 5-alarm call out from Mark Levin here to remind you of everything that's at stake here. And it's a big deal. Your entire federal government and individuals in the Democrat Party who want to change our system of government, destroy the independence of the Supreme Court, that's out of their mouths, not mine. Destroy the Electoral College, where many of your votes in states won't count, won't matter. Secure the border. And embrace Americanism. Embrace Americanism. It's time for Bernie Moreno to be a senator from Ohio to remove Sherrod Brown, who's a disaster. North Carolina, we need your Electoral College votes for Donald Trump. You've got a lot of them. I believe 16. I believe Georgia has 16 or 15. So it's very important. And it'll also show the way for other states. Remember, people haven't finished voting in these other states. And so if they see a victory in Georgia, they see a victory in North Carolina, they see victories in Ohio, maybe even some congressional races in Virginia, it's going to matter to the people who vote in New Hampshire where polls close around 8 p.m. It's going to matter to the people in Pennsylvania. And I would remind the people in Pennsylvania, you have a special obligation. You protect Independence Hall. You protect our history. And yet there are people out there who reject it. I want to remind the people in Arizona, you're being overrun. You're being overrun. Your state's being destroyed. Your polls close at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I remind the people in Chicago, where most of your polls, in Michigan, where most of your polls close at 8 p.m. Kamala Harris is destroying your industry. The heart of your industry is the automobile industry. 8 p.m. in all except for 4 counties, and I'll deal with those states after the bottom of the hour. But it's now time for North Carolina to shine and Ohio to shine with everything on the line. 60% of the vote is today. Sitting on the sidelines is really, to me, it's unimaginable. Mr. Producer, it's unimaginable. We've got patriots in this country who are stuck in these blue states. New Jersey, Illinois, Rhode Island, Delaware, New York. And they turn out and they vote. And they vote like there's no tomorrow, even though they're outnumbered. You're in one of these battleground states. You're going to decide the future of the nation for everybody else. In addition to your family, in addition to generations yet to come, but you're going to decide it for the whole country. I'm just being honest. All votes count. Again, we have these congressional races that are crucial, these Senate races, God willing. But the presidential race. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz aren't fit to be president and vice president. And our enemies are going to take note, God forbid. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get worse. And that's the truth. And so what do we have left here, Mr. Producer? A couple minutes? We have 3 minutes until we take a break, and after the break, the polls in North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia will be closed. That's the truth. So stay in line. If you just pulled up to your precinct, I can see it in my mind's eye, people pulling up in their cars and in their trucks and running into the line. That's what we need. Just get in line. That's your safe haven right there. And they can't turn you back. This is a Levin surge. This is a patriot surge to do everything we need to do. Everything we need to do. Obviously, legitimately and legally, but to get in line and to vote. There's no tomorrow. This is it. Every 4 years, this is it. You against the ruling class. We the people. We the people. There needs to be more of us than them. I think there are. If we vote, we will defeat them. It's that simple. And I'm counting on all of you in North Carolina and Ohio to hang in there and do exactly that and pull the straight Republican lever. I've never said that except for yesterday and maybe one other time a week ago, because that's what we're up against. Not because all these Republicans are fantastic. They're definitely not. But they're not them. The fundamental transformation of America. You can't love your country if you want to fundamentally transform it. Yet that's what Kamala Harris said and Biden said and the rest of them say. We don't want to destroy the civil society. We want to get back to limited constitutional representative government. That's what we want. Now, there's a minute left till I take a break. And there's 3 minutes left until the precincts all over the state of North Carolina and Ohio close. Close. So stay in line, cast your vote. I know you will, and I hope there's enough of us in line to cast votes to make sure that this line holds. The line in Georgia holds. The line in North Carolina holds. The line in Ohio holds. We need our senators. We need our congressmen. We need Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. It's your turn, North Carolina. It's your turn, Ohio. West Virginia is already in. We know. It's your turn to stand up and be counted. I'll be right back. The big wireless carriers want to limit you to two choices when it comes to data: unlimited or unlimited. And guess what? Both are stupidly expensive. So, folks, stop overpaying for data you're never going to use. That's like paying for a pot of coffee when you only need a cup, or filling your entire truck bed full of gas when you only need a tank. With Pure Talk, my cell phone company, you get to choose how much data you actually want. Listen to this. For just $25 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data, which is more than enough, plus mobile hotspot. Folks, stop overpaying for wireless and get America's best 5G coverage with Pure Talk. Go Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's puretalk.com/Levin. Switching is easy. There's no contract. There's no activation fees. You can even keep your phone and your number. Again, that's puretalk.com/Levin, Levin, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month when you sign up with Pure Talk.
The establishment's worst nightmare. Mark Levin. Call in now. 877-381-3811.
It's like Trump was killing it in Florida. Even in Democrat areas like Miami-Dade, quite frankly. Georgia, what is it, Rich? 6% of the vote. And it's impossible because when you have states where you have these heavy rural areas and these heavy metropolitan areas with heavy suburban areas, it's just hard to know where the votes are coming from. It can change in a blink of the eye. So it's only 8% of the vote in with Trump at 60 and Kamala Harris at 39, but that can change significantly. Who knows? And North Carolina, there's not much more we can do there. Ohio, not much more we can do there. The polls are closed. But they're not closed in Pennsylvania. The key to the keystone of the United States, the second state of the original 13 colonies, the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence, the birthplace of the Constitution, and so much more. Pennsylvania is a vibrant state. It's a diverse state. And I don't just mean religion and race. No, it's diverse economically. It's a fantastic state. I ask my fellow Pennsylvanians, as I am a Pennsylvanian, I'm a Philadelphian, I ask you, it's time to come home. It's time to come home and help save your country. It's time to come home and stand up for your family and your friends. It's time to come home and fight for your jobs. Pennsylvania has the highest per capita union membership in the country. Most people don't know that. Well, Kamala Harris and her ilk don't give a damn. She will destroy fracking. She will destroy coal mining. She will destroy the steel mills. She's thrown in with the San Francisco radical leftists. That's who she is. That's what she knows. California doesn't work in Pennsylvania. I asked the people in Philadelphia to look around. Are you happy with Democrat control of your city? Crime through the roof, drugs through the roof? A left-wing goon of a district attorney? And a clown for a mayor? You happy with that? I asked the people in the suburbs of Philadelphia, why are you in the suburbs? How come you don't live in the city? Think about it. Think about it. You concerned about illegal immigrants in your communities, Venezuelan gangs? Do you lock your doors at night? I remember when I never had to. How about the quality of education? Is it going up or is it going down? People in the suburbs. I asked the people in central Pennsylvania. Kamala Harris will destroy what's left of your small towns and your small industries. That's what she'll do. High inflation. Massive business tax increases. The destruction of your private health care. Those of you who belong to unions and you fought for your health care. She wants to nationalize it. Medicare for illegal immigrants. Do you know what it's going to do to the senior population? It's Donald Trump who said no. It's Donald Trump who said no taxes on Social Security payments. And he means it. You folks in and around Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, was the industrial heartland of America for so long and still is crucial. Your smokestack industries are going to be attacked and they're going to be ruined. She is a radical, degrowth, anti-industrialization San Francisco politician. That's what she is. And I haven't forgotten you people in Erie County. Yes, I know my state. The northwestern corner of Pennsylvania. She's forgotten you. What'd she do? Make 2 visits and say, vote for me because I'm for the future, I'm for opportunity? Is that what she did? Pennsylvanians are smarter than this. You've got a crucial Senate race. Crucial. With Dave McCormick. Bob Casey is a stiff. Bob Casey hasn't lifted a finger for your state. Nothing. Donald Trump is the quintessential candidate for Pennsylvania. He's the quintessential. He talks like Pennsylvanians. He talks like me, Philadelphians. He believes strongly in protecting American jobs and American industries. There's a significant population of senior citizens in Pennsylvania. He wants to protect their pensions. He wants to protect Social Security and Medicare from illegal immigrants and massive taxation. Donald Trump is the quintessential Pennsylvanian, believe it or not. It's what he is. He's a blue-collar billionaire. Kamala Harris has nothing in common with Pennsylvanians, not even the black community. She hasn't done anything for any black community. None. She hasn't done anything for women but destroy women's sports. Apparently she's good at that. Abortion on demand. You can get abortions in Pennsylvania. Not hard at all. It's the bread and butter issues. It's the national security issues. It's the patriotism issues. Pennsylvania is the most patriotic state I've ever lived in. It really is a remarkable place where we get so many of our fighting men and women, fantastic police officers, farmers, ranchers, miners, oil rig workers, and in the suburbs, hardworking people, many of whom are professionals. Pennsylvania, you need to come together and put an end to what's going on in this country. It's unraveling. Those of you who are in line, please stay in line. We know how complicated it is to count votes in Pennsylvania. Your bureaucracy is incompetent. We know that. But they're actually going to count them faster this time around than 4 years ago. You need to stay in line. Stay in line. My Pennsylvania brothers and sisters, those of you who I grew up with, those of you who I know, and those of whom I don't know, but I feel I know, please get to your polling place. Get in your cars, get in your trucks, and get to them as quickly as you can. We need Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina. We need you to be the red line. We need you to put an end to this. We need to have our country back, our freedom back, our economy back. We need to have our border secure and back. We can't handle 21 million illegal immigrants, violent criminals, fentanyl coming across the border. You're going to get twice as much if they win and we lose. Your vote means everything. Your vote from one end of Pennsylvania to the other means everything. It's an interesting state. You know, many people in Philadelphia have never been to Pittsburgh. Many people in Pittsburgh have never been to Philadelphia. And many people in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh have never been to parts in between. All the small little towns in between. It's okay. We're red-blooded Americans. It's okay. But let's remember why this day is important. Pennsylvania, let us remember why this day is important. And the people in New Hampshire, you hear me too. You hear me too. I encourage you as strongly as I know how. Those of you who have yet to vote, we're relying on you. The rest of the country is relying on you. Tens of millions of us are relying on you. When you pull up in your car or your truck and you park it in the parking lot at a school or a church or some other place where your precinct is, just know there are tens of millions of us cheering you on. When you're standing in line and getting frustrated, just know tens of millions of us are standing with you. We stand with you. We need each other. We need the people of Pennsylvania to step up. Those of you who haven't yet. We know you will. If you're in line, stay in line. If you're not in line, get in line. You've got 15 minutes. You can get it done. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
The big wireless carriers want to limit you to two choices when it comes to data, unlimited or unlimited. And guess what? Both are stupidly expensive. So folks, stop overpaying for data you're never going to use. That's like paying for a pot of coffee when you only need a cup, or filling your entire truck bed full of gas when you only need a tank. With Pure Talk, my cell phone company, you get to choose how much data you actually want. Listen to this. For just $25 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data, which is more than enough, plus mobile hotspot. Folks, stop overpaying for wireless and get America's best 5G coverage with Pure Talk. Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's puretalk.com/Levin. Switching is easy. There's no contract. There's no activation fees. You can even keep your phone and your number. Again, that's puretalk.com/Levin, Levin, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month when you sign up with Pure Talk. We've got 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left, Pennsylvania. And, of course, there's voting in other states, too. Many other states. But I'm focused right now on Pennsylvania. And I might add, in Nebraska. You have one congressional district there. Hopefully it won't come down to that. Omaha, Nebraska. They have a weird system in Nebraska where they split the electoral college votes by congressional district. I believe they have 3 of them. So the Democrats typically win this Omaha. And what they're saying is if it's really close and comes down to the end, that one district, that one electoral vote, could throw it to Kamala Harris at 270 to 268. You imagine that? And so Pennsylvania, I'm asking you to put an end to this. I'm asking you to put an end to open borders, to the Venezuelan brutal gangs, to the sex slavery, to the fentanyl. We need our fellow Pennsylvanians, our fellow citizens, great patriots. You are carrying us on your shoulders right now. They say you're the key to everything. You're the key to everything. You have a fantastic Senate candidate in McCormick. You have crucial House races going on in the state. You have a tremendous opportunity. Let me put it that way. A tremendous opportunity as a single voter, standing in line, waiting to vote, or in your car and truck, racing to your precinct where you have literally 8 minutes left to get there. You have a historic opportunity to save this country and to tell your kids and grandkids that you did. If it comes down to a handful of votes in Pennsylvania and these other states, it's thanks to you. It's thanks to you that we came out of this the way we needed to, that we can get our country back, our rule of law back. It's thanks to you that we'll be able to secure the border, rebuild our military, lift up our officers and police officers and first responders. It's thanks to you. And so we're counting on you, Pennsylvania. Each and every one of you can make a difference. You will make a difference. The other side's going to turn out. It just means more of us have to turn out. I've been to every corner of the Keystone State during my life. I went one summer to Penn State. I went to college at Temple and law school at Temple University. Been to Pittsburgh many times. Been to Erie. I love the state. Been to Reading. Been to Johnstown. All over the state. Patriots. Great patriots. And in 7 minutes, your polls will close. And we're counting on you. The nation is watching. Again, while you're in line, tens of millions of us are in line with you, cheering you on. You may not see us, but we're there. While you're pulling up in your pickup or your automobile to get to that precinct just in the nick of time to get in line, we're with you. We're cheering you on. We are. We need your help. Pennsylvania is the Keystone State. And Pennsylvania needs to shock the country and shock the world and shock the media and shock the Democrats. Shock them. Lastly, I would say to my Jewish friends in the state of Pennsylvania, you have a tremendous amount on the line. The growing anti-Semitism, your ancestral home in Israel, the Holy Land. Harris intends to attack it and undermine it. She already has. Harris is running commercials in other parts of the country that say exactly the opposite of what she's saying to the Jewish community in Pennsylvania. If not for your country, for yourselves, for your own survival, for your own protection, you need to make the right decision here. I say this to my Catholic friends. Her position on abortion is not Roe v. Wade. Her position on abortion is no exceptions for conscience. No parental notification. No limits. Right in the birth canal. And she opposed the SAVE Act, which is a botched abortion and a baby is born. She opposed it at the federal level, and Tim Walz destroyed the law that required doctors and hospitals to save that born baby. I can't believe that most of the women in the suburbs agree with that. There's abortion and then there's infanticide. We're counting on the people, our brothers and sisters in Pennsylvania. You're up now. It's your time. There's 5 minutes left. Stay in line. Don't be dispirited. No matter how much it takes, no matter how long it takes, please stay there. People have done a lot worse and in much worse conditions. We need your help in Pennsylvania and all across the states that close at 8 p.m. New Hampshire, New Jersey. You got a lot of congressional races going on. Missouri, Mississippi, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Tennessee is a big one. But Pennsylvania is the enchilada, if not the big enchilada. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you're going to do. Be proud of the fact that you are the finger in the dike and that you are not going to allow this country to be flooded by the left. That you're going to do everything you can. You're going to stay in line and get in line, and you're going to vote. And we will watch those numbers come in throughout the day, throughout the evening, maybe another day. And we'll say, my God, they did it. My God, those Pennsylvanians, they did it again. I'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. This be me, Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Interesting, Loudoun County, Virginia, because the Virginia votes are still being counted, which went for Joe Biden like by 60-some-odd%. What we see now, Loudoun County, Virginia, is basically 8-point swing towards Trump. 8-point swing towards Trump. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to win Loudoun County. I'm saying it's an 8-point swing towards Trump. And Loudoun County is sort of an exurb, becoming more and more of a suburb, but it is your typical, really suburban community. So that's quite interesting there. Also, the latest I saw, about 25% of the black vote that can be identified so far of male blacks have voted for Trump. That is huge. Now, I don't know what all this means. We got to watch, suburban women apparently are very concerned about abortion for some reason, even though we have more abortions now than we've ever had in American history, even since the Dobbs decision. But it is what it is. And so next up, well, we still have Pennsylvania. We're going to watch that carefully. Is 9 p.m. when we sign off, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got a lot of important congressional races. Just because I don't mention the state doesn't mean it's not important. We've got a lot of important Senate races. 9 p.m. we have Arizona. Now, Michigan, most of the polling places have closed since 8 p.m., but you have certain counties that are out till 9 p.m., so that's important. Nebraska, very important that people get out and vote there because of one district in particular. You have South Dakota, North Dakota, New York, New Mexico, Minnesota, Louisiana, Kansas, Iowa, Colorado. Some important races there, like our friend Boebert. But the big enchilada is Michigan and Arizona, 9 p.m. after we sign off the air. Now, again, I want to reiterate, we have important Senate races. We have very, very important House races. This is critical in states that are not bellwethers for the presidential race, but you still have pockets of battles going on throughout these states. It's very important. Arizona, you got to make a decision. I think you will. You've got to make a decision on whether you've had it with this illegal immigration and the fentanyl and the MS-13 gangs and all the rest destroying your state. I understand you've been overwhelmed with a lot of Californians. That's why Arizona's mostly gone from a dark red state to a purplish state. But you have a great opportunity now, you really do, to make a difference. A great opportunity. By the way, you folks in Pennsylvania, please don't get the hell out of your line. Stay right there. Stay right there. Donald Trump is also winning slightly in Duval County, Florida, which is a heavy Democrat county. And so you can see things are going on here. It's hard to tell state by state. But things are going on here. With 36% of the vote in, Trump has about 57% of the vote in Georgia. Harris has about 43. But then again, the big states, the big counties are not all in. I have some additional information that I want to relay to you. Just give me a second. Let's see here. Give me a second. I got to pull it all up. Now, Donald Trump in Georgia in Baldwin County is +4. Why is that important? That's one of the bellwethers in the state, testing the Democrats' ability to win big with black voters and to turn out young voters. Biden won it by 1. So far, Trump is winning it by 4. And Trump is poised to flip Duval County, Florida, which has never voted to the left of Georgia. So there's some interesting, as I say, things going on. It will be a long night for some of these. Maybe not as long in Georgia. I don't know. We're not getting a ton of information out of North Carolina. Not yet, anyway. But let's see here. Give me a second. I'm digging up some additional information. Another source here. Wisconsin. Some notions that Wisconsin is absolutely in play. I'm giving you early reports, ladies and gentlemen. Pennsylvania's absolutely in play. So we just don't know yet. But what we do know is you're in a state that hasn't voted yet, your vote matters. It damn well can count big time. For the presidency, for the Senate, for House seats, everything's up for grabs here, folks. Everything. So we know it's very, very important. And you who haven't voted yet, you're going to make a difference here. People who voted early brought us to a point where we're really in these races. But it's going to take the people voting today to put us over the top. That was always going to be the case. That was always going to be the case. Over 50% of Fulton County, which includes most of Atlanta, is in, just so you know. So this is going to get very interesting, and we're going to know the Georgia results probably after I sign off, but shortly after that. That's my guess. And with almost 40% of the vote in, Trump has about 57% of the vote in Georgia. Kamala's 43, but again, we don't know where all that's coming from. These Senate races, we're keeping an eye on that. In Ohio in particular, man, you have an opportunity to do something great. Same with Wisconsin, same with Pennsylvania, same with Montana, same with Arizona, same with Nevada. We've got some great, great candidates who would make great senators. You also have these tight congressional races. And let me return to that. The polls in New York close at 9 p.m. We have 5, count them, 5 crucially important congressional races in New York. 5. That we by the way, Rick Scott has been declared the winner in Florida. He actually won by like 12%, significant amount. We had him on our program repeatedly. He was running scared. He was very nervous, but apparently unnecessarily so. But he's won big. You know, Governor DeSantis has changed Florida, and I think it's changed Florida forever. It's just overwhelming what he's done there. But New York, your polls close at 9 p.m. You've got crucial races. We had a number of these candidates on my program because in so many ways the majority runs through New York, runs through California. Don't get me wrong. We have important races in Pennsylvania, these other states too. But New York closes at 9 p.m., so we need to win those races. Same with Nebraska. You've got a couple seats there. We need to win those races, too. You've got a very important Senate race with Deb Fischer in Nebraska. She's running against a radical left-wing kook who has spent an enormous amount of money with the help of Schumer to do what they always do, to pretend that he's not a radical left-wing kook, just like the rest of us, moderate. So it's very important. People in Minnesota, you have an opportunity to strike back at Tim Walz for what he's done to your state. And that's the truth. Iowa, we're going to see now that Iowa is not going to go for Kamala Harris by 10 points, that it was all a head fake to distract and to dispirit the Trump voters, as I said. That will never happen, period. You've got important races in Colorado as well. Very important. And Kansas. Kansas is important too. But Arizona is the key at 9 p.m. Michigan, the precincts that are open till 9 p.m., absolute key. Nebraska is very, very important. For the races that are out there, very, very important. So we shall see what happens. And, of course, at 10 p.m., when I won't be on the air, we've got Nevada and Montana. Other states, too. You got Alaska at 1 a.m., and that's very important, by the way. Some of those seats close at 12 a.m. We can take a seat there. We can take a House seat. That's very important. We had the gentleman on my program. He was very solid. Very, very important, Alaska. You still have time, but Nevada, you're crucial. And that's where Donald Trump started with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. Montana, it's time to broom John Tester out. He's a liar. He pays millions of dollars, spends to pretend he's a hometown boy. He's a hometown boy if he happens to live in Washington, D.C. He's been a career politician. You got a war hero who's running against him, Tim Sheehy, even though they've tried to destroy his reputation because that's what they do. Michigan, as I say, you still have polls open there. You have a Senate race that's very, very important, some House races that are very, very important of the areas that are still open. Excuse me. But Arizona, you're a bellwether state. We need all the patriots in Arizona to step up. I remember Barry Goldwater. I met Barry Goldwater. As a young man, I befriended Barry Goldwater. He was a tremendous man. You can't give the state to Harris. You can't give the state to this sleazeball nutjob who's running for the Senate against Kerry. That's just crazy. Absolutely nuts. It's very important. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Let's take a listen to Elon Musk on Joe Rogan's podcast yesterday to fire people up. Cut 14, go.
Obviously, I view this election as a turning point, like a fork in the road of destiny that is incredibly important. I've not been politically active until this election, and the reason I've been politically active this election is because I think if we don't elect Trump, I think we will lose. We will lose democracy in this country. We will lose the two-party system, and let me explain why. So there's only like six or seven swing states. The margin of victory in those states is small, often like 10 or 20,000 votes. What the Democrat administration has been doing is importing vast numbers of illegals into swing states. You can look at the numbers on the actual government website, meaning you don't take my word for it. You'll just look at the numbers as reported by the government, which is controlled by the Democrats. And what we're seeing is triple-digit increases in the number of illegals in every swing state. In some cases, 700% increases. These are gigantic numbers. So if you have a state that has a 10 or 20,000 vote margin, and you put 200,000 illegals into that state, you 10x you swamp the. It's not a swing state anymore. It's going to vote blue, and then once the swing states vote blue, there is no election anymore. There's only a Democrat primary,
which is so crazy, and it's so crazy that people are fine with that.
Well, I guess people on the left will be fine with that because they think that's a good idea.
They just want to win. They just want to win.
Correct. Like the thing is, one does not need actually any grand conspiracy theory for this. You just have to look at the simple matter of incentives. If the Democrat Party wants to win, like basically achieve permanent victory, all they need to do is turn the swing states. Turn the swing states blue. They have permanent victory. And then we're a one-party state, and then they will keep doing that. Obviously, they will keep stacking the deck by bringing in vast numbers of illegals into the swing states. Keep stacking it so that the next election, each successive election, will be worse than the last one.
You know, it's amazing. I wrote about this, and I've been talking about this, which is they seek to be the monopoly party. So we'll go through elections, but they won't matter. What I call Potemkin elections, where the Republicans are basically going to lose every time. And that is a grave concern. And Elon Musk is 100% correct. If they can flip Texas, or they can flip Pennsylvania permanently, or flip some of these other states, it's over. All they have to do is flip one or two. That's why the border's open. That's why they want to change the citizenry. That's why they want chain migration. That's why this election is so crucial. He's right. Anybody who sits back long in the tooth from Washington tells you that this election will still have a democracy, and we're not going to have a competitive republic. It's just not going to happen. And so this is very, very important. Now, I should let you know that I was encouraged to participate in the Fox election coverage and the Blaze election coverage, and I decided no, because I want to focus on this coverage on this program for the 3 hours that I'm on the air. And then afterwards, I want to focus on what's actually taking place, not just talking about what I think might happen and what will happen. No, that doesn't do it for me. So there'll be a lot of analysis that we can make, of course, tomorrow, but we're all going to be watching late into the night, hoping and hoping. And as I say, when I sign off here in a half hour, we're counting on you, Arizona, and what's left of the Michigan vote in that state. And I want to remind you what I've told all the other voters in the states that preceded the 9 p.m. hour, Eastern Time. Millions of us are counting on you. Millions of us are standing with you. Millions of us. And you've got these crucial, important Senate races and these House races. We need Donald Trump to win. We need to take the Senate, and we need to hold the House so they're not busy trying to impeach him, investigate him to the end of the earth. He needs to win so he can dismiss all these charges against him, so he can actually do the things that need to be done by a president who loves his country. I mean, Arizona is like one of a handful of states that is ground zero for all this illegal immigration. If the people of Arizona aren't going to stand up and defend themselves and vote for a president and a party that's going to put an end to it, but prefers to have all these illegal aliens, and many of them extraordinarily violent, coming into their state, well, then there's nothing anybody else in any other part of the country can do for you. So we're standing with you. When you're standing in line, you've got plenty of times to get, actually you don't. It's 8:26 p.m. Eastern Time, and if you're voting in Arizona, 9 p.m. Eastern Time is it. You better get to the polls, and you better go now, and you better stay in line. So your clock is ticking. And there needs to be an overwhelming number. You need to take that Senate seat, you need to win the presidency, and you need to fight on these congressional races. You can do this. Look, it's coming to fall on each and every one of us in each and every one of these states. It's absolutely critical. You got Texas. Many of the polls closed at 8. Many of them are closing at 9. I mean, can you imagine a Senate without Ted Cruz? And you got a couple of very important congressional races there. Wisconsin. Wisconsin closes at 9 p.m. We need to take Wisconsin. We need to break this idea of a blue wall. Wisconsin elected Ron Johnson, who's a tremendous senator. Tremendous senator. You got a tremendous Senate candidate right now, Hovde, who's running there. And President Trump needs to win Wisconsin. You folks can do this. You can do it. You can make all the difference in the world. Arizona, Wisconsin, then Montana, Nevada. Nevada, we need your electoral votes. We need your senator. You can change the whole trajectory of this nation. A handful of states. if you go out and vote, stay in line and get other people to vote. You will change the trajectory of this nation from a failing republic. All previous republics have collapsed to a successful, vibrant nation at peace with itself. 30 minutes more. Plenty to discuss. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin says today, what the backbenchers will repeat tomorrow. Call Mark at 877-381-3811.
Let's regroup here and see where we are. There's been no call in Georgia. It closed at 7 p.m. There's been no call in North Carolina. That closed at 7:30 p.m., as well as other states, of course. But I'm just going through some of these states. Pennsylvania, of course, closed at 8 p.m. There's no call there. Arizona will be closing at 9 p.m., as will the rest of the Michigan voting locations. Texas, some of their areas have already closed at 8 p.m., but they have some areas that close at 9 p.m. Wisconsin closes at 9 p.m. All important, Wisconsin. All important for the presidency and the Senate. And as I'm watching Ohio, what percentage of the vote was in last time we checked, Mr. Producer? 41% in Brown versus Marino. What's the percentage there? Yeah. I didn't hear you. No, what percentage do each of the candidates have of the vote right now? So it's 50-47. Brown is 50%. Marino's 47%. We can only hope at this point that Marino catches him. 10 p.m. we're going to have Montana. That Senate race is crucial to take out Tester. We're counting on you folks in Montana to help us here in the country. I know you will. In Nevada, you too. Got a lot of great people in Nevada. You know, it's funny. They say, well, it's a union-controlled state. All I know is when I go to Las Vegas and I walk through casinos, those people could not be friendlier to me, shouting out my name, Mark, how you doing, and so forth and so on. We need your help in Nevada to win the Senate with Sam Brown, to win the state for Donald Trump, get those electoral college votes. So there's a lot at stake after I sign off. Wisconsin, we have an eye on you. Texas, we need Ted Cruz back. In Wisconsin, we need to win that for Trump, and we need to win it for Hovey. Did I pronounce that right for once in my life? I love the guy. Hovde, Eric Hovde, was just fantastic. Michigan, you got an important Senate race. Nebraska, we haven't spent enough time on that. Nebraska is very, very important. You've got a seat there in Omaha, and you have a Senate seat that's being very closely contested with a radical left-wing independent who's really a Democrat hack against Deb Fischer, who's sort of a moderate Republican, a very soft-spoken woman. But she deserves to be reelected just to keep the other nut job out. That's very, very important, and that's Nebraska. Michigan, we've already talked about, in Arizona. So in terms of these so-called battleground states, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, all close at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That is a big deal. That is important, including for Senate races. Very, very important. And, of course, 10 p.m. is important, too. And as I say, we're millions of us, and we stand in line with you. We're sitting right in your car and your truck as you try and get to the voting place. We're with you. It's very, very important, and it makes a big difference. Let's see here. I wanted to play one other thing for you folks. Give me 1 second here. More Elon Musk with Joe Rogan. Cut 15, Mr. Producer. Go.
What was the pushback? Like, what happened when you guys released the Twitter files? Because I think the Twitter files is probably one of the most important things in this age of information for understanding the influence that government has on social media and on discourse. Because when we found out that that was the case, that the government was actually asking Twitter to remove posts that were factual,
all the time.
They did the same thing to Facebook. They had them throttle pieces of one of Tucker Carlson's show. They suppressed the views by 50%.
Yeah.
Of factual information.
Yeah, no, there was massive government interference in Twitter, but like Twitter welcomed it. That's important to all Twitter welcomed it. All Twitter was controlled by far left activists.
Yeah.
So they welcomed the government interference. They got paid by the government for it.
That's crazy. They
yes.
got paid for their time, correct?
Yeah, they got paid millions of
worked?
dollars for suppressing information.
So it's like build
and
time.
a bunch of it was like flat out illegal. Like the FBI had this sort of magic portal into the Twitter system, but all of the communication in that in this portal was auto deleted after 2 weeks, which breaks federal FOIA laws. So we don't even know what was said because it was all deleted after 2 weeks.
This is why they hate Elon Musk. They want to put him in prison, too. Everything the Democrat Party and Harris say and all the rest of them is what they want to do. Let me be clear about something. The states that are left out, haven't voted yet, our fellow patriots in those states, if we lose, Donald Trump's going to prison. If Kamala Harris loses, she's going back to San Francisco. I mean, on top of everything else, are we going to betray Donald Trump? I mean, seriously. He's in this position because he sought to represent us. Are we going to betray him now? We'll take a break now, Mr. Producer. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Ron DeSantis had 2 victories in Florida. Amendment 3 failed. This is the Canadian pot company that tried to get the Constitution amended so it would have effectively a monopoly on selling pot and immunity from any litigation and 100 other problems with that. It failed. You need 60% of the vote. It got 58%. And, well, that's interesting in Virginia, Mr. Producer. 43% of the vote is, and it's pretty much tied. Now, wait till all of Fairfax and Northern Virginia comes in and they screw up everything, but we'll see. And also, the abortion amendment, which was so radical, abortion in the birth canal, no parental notification, no SAVE Act, none of it, that failed too. DeSantis is a powerhouse. He's a powerhouse in Florida and powerhouse elsewhere. He really is. And he came on my TV show to oppose this, came on our radio show. And you know what that means? You're a powerhouse. You folks in this audience, you're the power. Much of the audience I have on Fox, that's you. Much of it is you. And we have an extremely powerful platform because of you. I get these killer ratings numbers on Fox because you come over and watch. And all these folks want to come on the program. And I don't blame Governor DeSantis for coming on because he wanted to have an opportunity to discuss these 2 amendments. And I don't blame him for coming on here yesterday to discuss these 2 amendments. Of course, we used the opportunity to promote Rick Scott as well. So we're hoping a lot of these Senate candidates win. God willing, Donald Trump will win and we'll hold the House. This is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We'll see. I'm looking at a lot of these states. I mean, only 50% of the vote in. Trump has a slight lead in Virginia. Same thing with Georgia. Same thing here and there. But we're waiting for these counties and so forth, and it's hard to know what's coming in and what's not, Mr. Producer. And that is part of the problem. And we shall see. We're all going to watch this together. And I kind of study it. I kind of stare at the TV. I go online. I look at other media outlets and the numbers that they come up with and so forth, just because I want to inform myself as much as possible, because that's what I do, whether I have a radio or TV show or not. But I also want to do it so when it's time to speak with you, I'll be perhaps the most informed, or at least one of the most informed individuals of all who's able to discuss this. And I think that's very important, too. I'm looking down here, Mr. Producer, for my articles. What the hell did I do with them? Let's see here. I'm looking. Give me a second, folks. Rich, can you send me the handful of articles we have, please? Because I can't find them. They dropped out. I just want to see. Here we go. We're live and national. Say what? What's that, Rich? Okay, hold on. Let me look for my friends who are providing me with some inside information here. Stick with me, folks. Trump is performing better in early reporting across all states as compared to 2020. I'm not telling you to break out the champagne. I'm giving you the information. The Texas Democratic pipeline looks to be, again, a pipeline. That is, a pipe dream, I should say. Florida is probably going to end up with Trump plus 12, which is massive. Trump seems to be underperforming a bit in Ohio. That's going to make it tough for Bernie Moreno, which is very upsetting to me. And we're watching Pennsylvania. There's just a number of variables there, including the fact that the Democrats didn't do as well with early mail-in vote among independents in Pennsylvania as they had intended. And so I'm getting this from a couple of sources as I look into this, and these people know what they're talking about. But nobody knows the answer. I'm getting texts and emails, people asking me who's going to win. I mean, I'm watching the same thing as everybody else does, but rather than worry about who's going to win until we actually have a winner and a loser, I'm worried about people voting. That's what I'm worried about. People voting. If people vote, we win. If people vote, we win. I'm still rooting for Bernie Moreno. I think he has a decent shot. Hovde in Wisconsin, same thing. Carrie Lake in Arizona. You people turn out in Arizona. She's a senator. And you'll stop that nut job from getting in there. Nevada, Senator Brown. I mean, this guy's a war hero up against a left-wing kook. And we need these states for Donald Trump. We need to win these states. These 7 or 8 states. And I know that so many of you people from these states have voted or are voting. And you're saying, Mark, why do you keep harassing me? I'm not harassing you. I'm harassing people who haven't voted and won't vote. Because I voted. Millions and tens of millions of us already voted. And there's nothing else we can do other than hope that enough of our fellow patriots are out there voting, getting us the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And my God, what a day that would be. What a Thanksgiving we would have. What a Christmas and Hanukkah. What a January 1st. What a January 20th it would be, America. You can do this. There's still a lot of people that need to vote in these states. You can do this. We can do this. I have faith. The Democrats spent over $2.1 billion trying to stop Donald Trump, reports Breitbart. Over $2.1 billion. What are they afraid of? Well, they should be afraid. They should be afraid because he's going to take on the ruling class because he really does believe in we the people. He's demonstrated it in the past. He's demonstrated it through this campaign. We've never seen a campaign like this where one of the candidates was almost murdered twice. Afterwards, they call him Hitler and a fascist. We've never seen a campaign like this where the Democrat Party accuses upwards of 100 million of Americans of being neo-Nazis and garbage and deplorables. We've never seen anything like this, where a candidate running for president never got the nomination through the primary process. We've never seen anything like this, with a massive corporate media, 99% throws in and spends another few in-kind billions of dollars in contributions. We've never seen a campaign from a candidate like this, who spends the first 2 months of a 3-month campaign, in her case, hiding from us. And then in the end, lashing out. And then in the end, telling you she's joyous and she wants to unite. Thou who couldn't keep people on her payroll. It's very, very important. We need to kill inflation. We need to embrace energy independence. We need to secure our border. We need to deport murderers and rapists, people who put women into sex slavery. They need to get out. We need to build up our military. We need to back our cops. We need to do all these things. And it's left now to a handful of voters, a handful of states. That's what it's left for. Arizona, Michigan, Nebraska, the congressional races in New York, Texas, we need Ted Cruz back. Wisconsin, we need your electoral college votes. We need your new senator. Montana, we need your new senator. Nevada, we need your new senator. We need your electoral votes. We need it all. We need to sweep the table. We can't leave anything to chance. That's why I think this program is the most important program I've ever done on radio. These 3 hours, where we're together as patriots who care about this country, urging you on, urging you to exercise your vote, urging you to help save the country, knowing that tens of millions of us are standing with you, are backing you. When you're standing in line, when you're heading to your precinct, those of you who haven't voted yet in some of these states, we're standing with you. It's crucially important. 9 p.m., Arizona. Arizona closes at 9 p.m. Arizona, Maricopa County, we need you. Scottsdale, we need you. Michigan, we need you. Wisconsin, you're up. You're up now. You're up. And I'm out. We'll join each other again tomorrow and say a prayer and then vote. If you've already voted, say another prayer. See you tomorrow. God bless America.